In the remote countryside, on the outskirts of a sleepy town, stood an ominous mountain known as Black Peak. Its dark reputation was whispered among the locals, who warned of malevolent spirits and cursed souls that roamed its slopes. For three adventurous friends, Ryan, Jake, and Matt, tales of the mountain's haunted past only fueled their desire for a thrilling night amidst the chilling unknown. The friends, armed with camping gear, provisions, and a mix of fear and excitement, set out as the sun began its descent. The journey started with laughter and camaraderie, but as the mountain loomed larger before them, their voices softened, and unease crept into their hearts. Ryan, the daring and impulsive leader of the group, had heard legends about Black Peak and was eager to explore its mysteries. The tales of spectral apparitions and ghostly cries were like a siren's call to him. Jake, the loyal and level-headed friend, hesitated but couldn't resist the thrill of an adventure with his companions. Matt, the skeptical and analytical one, scoffed at the supernatural rumors, but joined to keep an eye on his friends, hoping to prevent them from doing anything foolish. As they ascended the rugged mountain trail, a chilling wind rustled through the trees and a dense fog rolled in, obscuring their path. The atmosphere became oppressive, and even the bravado of Ryan started to wane. The further they climbed, the more the mountain seemed to resist their intrusion, as if warning them to turn back. Yet they pressed on. With each step, the air grew colder, and their breaths hung like mist before them. The forest canopy grew thicker, casting eerie shadows that danced in the twilight. Matt glanced around, his analytical mind trying to rationalize the strange sights and sounds, but a seed of doubt was taking root in his psyche. As darkness enveloped the mountain, they stumbled upon an ancient stone marker at a crossroads. Etched with indecipherable symbols, it seemed to be a remnant of a forgotten civilization. Ryan's eyes sparkled with excitement, his curiosity piqued by the enigmatic artifact. "What do you think this is?" Ryan asked, tracing the symbols with his finger. Jake squinted, trying to make sense of the inscriptions. "Maybe it's an old boundary marker or a warning sign. We should be cautious." "Come on, don't tell me you believe in all these spooky stories," Ryan said, trying to mask his own growing apprehension. The tension between them dissolved into nervous laughter, and they decided to camp at the crossroads for the night. As they settled around a crackling fire, they tried to dispel the eerie atmosphere with jokes and stories. The warmth of the fire and the camaraderie provided temporary comfort, but the mountain's oppressive presence lingered like a thick fog. In the distance, an owl hooted, sending shivers down their spines. They exchanged uneasy glances, the darkness beyond the firelight stirring their imaginations. The sounds of the night seemed distorted, as if the mountain itself was orchestrating a haunting symphony to unnerve its intruders. "Do you hear that?" Matt whispered, his eyes darting around. "Hear what?" Ryan asked, trying to ignore the rising unease in his chest. "It's like whispers in the wind," Matt replied, his skepticism giving way to a sliver of fear. Before anyone could respond, a sudden gust of wind extinguished the fire, plunging them into darkness. Panic filled the air as they fumbled for their flashlights, their beams of light casting eerie shadows that danced on the trees. "Okay, this is getting really creepy," Jake said, his voice quivering. "Relax, it's just the wind," Ryan tried to reassure them, though his own voice wavered. They decided to take turns keeping watch, with the hope that the morning light would bring relief from the mountain's haunting grip. Matt took the first watch, his skeptical mind battling the instinctive fear creeping up his spine. As the others tried to sleep, Matt kept his senses sharp, scanning the darkness for any sign of danger. He could swear he heard distant footsteps, unnatural and ominous, but he attributed it to his overactive imagination. However, as the night wore on, the footsteps seemed to draw nearer, echoing with a sinister cadence. Matt's heart raced and he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched from the shadows. He nudged Jake awake and handed him the flashlight, unable to ignore the sense of dread. "What's wrong?" Jake asked, rubbing sleep from his eyes. "I heard something. Keep watch. I'll try to get some rest," Matt replied, his voice hushed. As Jake took over the watch, Matt lay down, but sleep eluded him. The mountain seemed to be alive with spectral activity, and he couldn't shake the feeling that they were not alone on Black Peak.